Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
Okay, Peter, here we are, flipping houses for rookies. I got all the technical shit going. Oh my God, that was an experience.
Bill, are you okay?
Oh, I'm stressed. Episode number 198, flipping houses for rookies.
198.
198. This episode is called Safe, Sensible, Plan Perfect. If you lost your job and need a paycheck working from home. Yay!
That's nobody.
Yeah, not today. Today, I plan to cover 12 easy steps on how you can find sellers, construct offers, and make deals whenever you have or wherever you have an internet connection and a computer. Yeah. These 12 steps work no matter your age, income, or experience level. This could be your first day on the job, and this will work for you, okay? This episode is designed to help you get through the month, until you can find something else or simply ramp this up and keep working from home if you want to. And if you're skeptical, just spend a few minutes with us today, and you will soon start to see yourself doing this over the next few days. How my promise is pretty bold.
As usual. Now, folks, just in case you're not getting the import of Bill's message, I'm not going to say it on the podcast because this applies to all the time, but just look at the date and remember your history. Look at the date this podcast was made and put it in perspective why we're talking the way we are right now.
Yeah, the virus. And if you have bought every single real estate investment course out there or program you could find and can't put another penny on your credit card, I desperately hope you get more out of this one podcast than all those other programs. This one podcast than all those other programs that maxed your credit card. And it actually is one of this one, man, I'm like, I got to chill out here, Peter. And okay. It actually is one solution that will allow you to get some big checks and wipe out those annoying credit card monthly payments that are sucking up your cash flow each and every month. Plus, I would expect you to get paid over and over and over again with these 12 easy steps so that these 12 easy steps actually act like an annuity or a pension plan paying you every single month.
So 2 things. You're saying your wife won't complain if you listen to this podcast?
No.
And you know what I said to the wife yesterday? Because we're working on probably the program where you're going to spill out because you don't tell me what it is, but I'm pretty sure where you're going. I said to her, honey, we're 1 or 2 deals away from all our credit cards gone.
Good.
Yeah. I got her attention a little bit.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you've been trying to get her attention for a long time, so.
Oh, I got her attention years ago, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
We're not talking about that kind of attention, Peter.
Well, you know, when you're young and handsome, you go with that. When you're older and not so handsome, you go with, I got money. money always talks. It's like, hey, honey, we could buy this. Hey, we could pay for that. Hey, honey, we can do this. We can buy things for the kids. Hey, the birthday's coming up. Hey, you want to go on vacation? I don't know when, but we're gonna go. We got a wedding plan for December. We hope, you know, one of those excursion kinds or whatever, getaways, and we can do it.
Okay.
We can do it despite being our age and, you know, blah, blah. We can do it.
Good. It's exciting. Yeah. All right. So let me roll this out for you before I go through the steps. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to paint this picture in our listeners' heads. right?
Mm-hmm. Close your eyes.
Don't hum. Don't cross your legs like you're in a yoga class, though. Okay, because I'm not crossing my legs like that.
Bill, you
Right.
can't cross your legs like
I
that.
can't. Exactly right. Yeah, belly's too big. So you could easily find deals online. Hint, Zillow. There's others, but that's the big monster in the room. Then you could actually, if you do it correctly, which I'm going to show you how, you could actually get their phone number and text them. And we have 3 questions that we text them to see if they're qualified to do what we do, which is a creative real estate deal. So you find them online, you text them these 3 questions. Once you get 3 yeses from these questions, you know that they're pre-qualified. You then get them on the telephone and ask them a few more questions, right? Now, for those of you that may or may not want to get on the telephone, well, then you should find another job, because if this is a people business, if you can't talk to somebody that wants to sell their house and is advertising to sell their house, right?
Yeah.
It's not cold calling. We text them first. They know what we want. We make arrangements in the text. I'm going to call you, right?
Yeah.
Then you call them.
And if you think texting is lame, like texting, you got to understand something. There's so much traffic on the internet and on your phone. It's like you just go deaf to it all. But when you get a text, you do see it. Right. And if you're trying to sell a house, you will see it.
Yep. So it's once powerful. You texted them and then you get on the telephone with them and you ask them these questions, which we're going to go over, right? You then have set it up so that you can send them 3 offers. Now, what you do is you draft up the 3 offers, which is a slot offer, a rent-to-own offer, and a cash offer. I'm going to go over that, right? And you actually send them these offers.
Right, and they're not just 3 different. They're not just 3 different prices. In case you don't know how this works, it's 3 different types of deals or arrangements to purchase the property. That's the beauty of it. It's not an offer. People think an offer is like how much, but there's 3 different ways to buy with 3 different numbers.
Right. So what happens is you actually set it up so that these 3 offers are not just 3 offers. There's actually a cover letter. Then there's the letter of intent, and then there's frequently asked questions along with it. So that handles some of their concerns. Because what you're going to do now is you're going to email that to them, and you're going to snail mail it. You're going to do both. Snail mail means the USPS.com or United States Postal Service, right?
Yep.
We actually mail them this offer, because what you're going to want to do at that point is you call them in 4 or 5 days and say, hey, what do you think of my offers? All right.
Sure.
Now at that point, it's if they're for real and if things have worked out and your pre-screening has worked out up until this point, you could actually strike a deal with them, or they struck a deal with you more likely, because you texted them, you pre-screened them, you got on the phone and asked them a handful of questions, you pre-screened them, ask them if you want to send an offer. How about if I send you some offers? You're not being pushy. You're being totally reluctant. How about if I send you some offers? You take a look at it and I call you in a few days. Now you get on the phone with them in a few days and they're like, oh, no. There's no way I could do those offers. You're like, okay. And you move on.
Yeah.
Or they're like, they'll start asking questions. What about this one? What about that one? And you strike a deal with them. Once you strike a deal with them verbally, now what you do is you send over a 1-page lease option agreement virtually, right? So you draft up this 1-page document. It's got all the data on it based on what you agreed on. You send it over to them virtually, right? Or electronically, right? They sign it and they send it back to you. Now you didn't sign it, but they signed it.
Yeah.
So they sign it, they send it back to you, and now you're ready to go. Except you have no idea what the property looks like. So what we do is we use, actually Zillow's got some new tools right now for virtual tours. So we actually have them do a virtual tour. they send us a link, you know for sure they're going to leave some stuff out. So once you look at the virtual tour, you can get some pinpointed questions, and now you get with them on FaceTime, and you actually have them. You ask questions on FaceTime, like you have them walk around the house and let me see the furnace, let me see the attic, let me see the roof, or whatever. You don't have to go to the house, right?
Yeah.
So once you look at the house and you're satisfied with the house, you then would sign your side of the contract.
Yeah, that's why. So you're not obligated, because that's what makes people nervous, if they're obligated and they don't know what they're getting into.
Right.
You're not signing anything until you see everything, and then see everything and see everything.
Exactly. So it's all done virtually. Here's the cool thing, and you don't need to do it this way, but it works for some people. Some people it doesn't. Now you can control the property, right? You have a contract, you have a lease with an option, and you can control the contract or control the property. Now what you do is you hook up with some realtor that leases houses, right? You have them show it, because a realtor for 1 month's rent will show the house for you. So let's say you got a deal and you got an $8,000 security deposit, or $8,000 deposit, a non-refundable option consideration deposit.
Right.
And you're charging $1,500 a month. So that means out of the $8,000 that the buyer's going to give you, you give the realtor $1,500 for finding the deal, right? Leaves you with $6,500, doesn't it?
Sure.
You didn't do any of the work. All you did was orchestrate
very
from
little.
your desk.
So, we've done it going ourselves, setting up our own system, going to the house sometimes ourselves. Do you think it's even better to have a realtor do it than to do it ourselves?
For some of the new guys, yes.
Yeah.
But what I like to do is I like to put boots on the ground. Often I'll get a coaching client.
Yeah.
Or meet somebody, or, get a connection. Here's the thing. There was no closing. There's no closing agents. There were no bank loans. That we're buying pretty houses, so there's no construction. There's none of that stuff. We're buying, we're going to work on lease option houses.
Right.
On a slot deal, you can make $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 for doing the transaction and not have to have a license, because we're part of the option consideration money, right?
Right.
So it's a really cool way to get started. That's like you need $10, $50, $100 for consideration deposit, and you got a deal. You control the deal. But the best part is everybody's always worried about how am I going to sell the house? Well, if you give it to a realtor and give them a 1 month, give them 1 month commission, one month's rent, let them go do it. They're local. They know how to advertise. They know how to put it on the MLS. They know how to, do whatever. They got to show it. They got to do everything. Right.
That's interesting. We're working on this with the wife right now, and we're just kind of launching it because we got behind on some things, but I hadn't thought of that. I know the system, we go show up ourselves, and I'm in my backyard still. This makes me wonder if they might have, and I already asked this, so apologize, but it makes me wonder if they have more reach because of the MLS than we would have, if it'd be seen more.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. And as long as you get somebody in there paying the rent, what's the difference?
Yeah, just to know if it'd be just curious, it'd be faster. It's definitely less work for me.
Well, what says you can't put it on Marketplace on Facebook and then just put the realtor's phone number in there?
Yeah.
So you can market yourself.
Sure. So do some of our kind of marketing and then send it his way.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So let's go over the 12 steps. Okay.
Yep.
So what are you clicking on?
Me? Oh,
yeah.
I have some pens. You hearing that?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I didn't think it'd make that much noise.
Pretty loud. Yeah.
Okay.
All
sorry.
Right, good. So the first step, all right, is you're going to want to go and remember, I said this in the first recording and we deleted that. So here's the deal, guys. I'm going to pour my guts out here like I always do. So if you're listening to this podcast, all right, and you are exercising or working or driving or something like this, this is one of those podcasts you're going to want to go back and you're going to want to listen to, because I'm going to rattle off a bunch of URLs or internet sites that you're going to need to go to do some of this work. Okay. Also, this is not ready right now. It will be in a few days. By the time this podcast gets released, because we're on Facebook right now, live streaming. So the guys that are on Facebook, this is not ready right this moment, but it will be by the end of, by the middle of next week. If you go to flippinghouses4rookies.com and you go to real estate virtually, you can actually watch a video that I made that does this. So if you go to realestate.com, I'm sorry, if you go to flippinghouses4rookies.com/real estate virtually, there will be a video there, and I'm going to show you how to use all these sites. Okay, so this is the podcast. I'm going to do it verbally here with audio. I'm not going to show all the sites, but you should grab a paper and pencil, and you should write down some of the websites. Okay. Also, if you haven't already, you should subscribe to our channel, okay, to our podcast. So wherever you listen to podcasts, you should subscribe, and also leave us a comment. Any kind of a review or something like that. What you think of these podcasts, because we've changed the podcast and we are definitely doing more educational stuff and not trying to do what most people in my industry talk about, infotainment, which is information with entertainment. And most of those podcasts, when you listen to them, they tell you what to do. They don't tell you how to do it. And today I'm going to tell you how to do it. Okay.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. So please go to flippinghouses4rookies.com. Scroll halfway down the page. You'll see the podcast there with all the episodes, and below it, you'll see a link to be able to give us a review. Okay. So please go give us a review and make sure you subscribe to our page. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, which is what put me off on this rant, is we're going to go to a site, a very popular site called Zillow.com. It's called, the URL you're going to use is called Zillow.com/home-values. Okay. So values is plural. So Zillow.com home-values. So when you go on this website, you're going to type in the address of a house you're looking at. You can type in your city. You can type in your zip code. You can type in your county, whatever area you plan on farming in. In other words, looking for houses in. Excuse me, I got to deal with that in my throat. There's something going on. Okay. Just go to this website. Type in, whatever area code, whatever you want to do. And it will show you the median price of a house or houses in that area, single family houses in that area. Okay. So it'll even show you a scale, like a little thermometer, that says whether the market is hot or cold, whether it's a good market or a bad market. It will even show you average rents. So if you scroll down on the bottom right-hand side of the description, if you scroll down, it says more, read more. You can go there and find out what the average rent is. So go do a little bit of research, okay? And you'll be able to figure that out, okay? Once you figure out what your median price is, what you need to do is you need to multiply that number. Like say it's $100,000, okay? Multiply that number by 34%. So like if it's $100,000, it'll be $34,000, right? It would be 34%. Mm-hmm. So now what you're going to do is you're going to add that 34% to the 100,000, which is the highest price range you want to look for houses in that area, and subtract it from the 100%. Right? So in this particular case, it's what, 66,000, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're getting a range, a low-high range. So you're ballparking some lower properties, some higher properties.
Right. So your lowest number of property you're going to look for if your average median price on Zillow realtor.com/home-values, okay, is 100 grand, then you're going to start with, when you do your search, you're going to do 66,000 to 134,000. Right. And we're doing that because those are usually the popular houses that sell. So that you don't get stuck with, a house that's not going to sell.
Right. Because as far as I can tell, when somebody wants to buy a house, you go, honey, where do you want to live? You pick a town,
right,
that you like for whatever reason. And then you say, oh, what's our budget? And then, there's a certain amount, but there's always like most houses sell for such and such an amount, give or take. So you're putting that number in the middle and going a little bit high, a little bit low, give or take. So you're in a ballpark where people are more likely to buy because they have been. This is already facts from Zillow. You're not guessing.
Right. Now, to your point, and a little bit off script, if for some reason you want to find out where the hottest spot is in your neighborhood, and you're like in your neighborhood, or where you want to, where you want to sell houses that sell quick, you can contact a realtor, ask them to give you the sold listings for the last 12 months. It literally takes them like 3.5 minutes to like get an Excel spreadsheet. All right.
Yeah.
You take that spreadsheet and you upload it to Google Maps, and ask Google Maps to pin all those addresses. And what it will do is it'll give you pins of all the addresses, right? The little bubbles. And you'll see clusters of areas where the most amount of houses are bought and sold. Okay. So you would be smart to stay in those clusters because that's where the most amount of people are. There's probably a school there, some government. There's a reason why people are flocking to that area. This is especially cool if you're like going to do this outside of your backyard. Right. It's a great thing to do if it's outside your backyard. Okay. So now that we figured out what area and the price range, right, we're going to go into the regular Zillow search engine. So you're just going to go to Zillow.com. You're going to put in the search engine, probably the zip code. We use zip code, but if you're doing like with us, we do New Haven County, Connecticut. Whatever you put into the tool at Home Values, you put the same thing in the search. Right. And what will happen is it'll bring up a bunch of houses to the right. But you want to filter those and find houses that we can buy. So if you look at when it opens up on the left-hand side, there's going to be a map there. Okay. And a search engine is going to, the search box is going to be on the left-hand side above the map. And to the right of that search box is going to be filters. So the first filter you want to set is, who's selling the house, right? So if you click on that, it'll say for sale by, you'll want to set it. It'll be houses for sale, because there's also, apartments and all that kind of stuff, but it says houses for sale. To the right of that houses for sale, there's a little gray button. If you click on that, it opens a window. And there you can set who you want to search for. And we want to search for sale by owners. We don't want to do any others. If you do pre-foreclosure and foreclosure and all that stuff, that's good if you have money and you want to catch people's payments up. You want to catch up $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 worth of payments, then that's good. It's a great way to buy houses. But most people listen to this recording, I don't think, want to do that. So just type in for sale by owners. The big thing that this is going to do is it's going to take away all of the properties that are listed with realtors. And when we say we want to find the owner's phone number, this is the fastest way to do it. We want to use for sale by owner. Okay, because the person that's selling the house, who is usually the person that owns the house, is going to put their phone number there. Sure. Okay. The next box over is going to be the median price. So what you're going to do is you're going to open that box up and you're going to use the 66,000 as a low, 134 as the high, hit done. Okay. Next box over is going to be the criterias of the house. So I usually use 2+ bedrooms and 1+ bathroom. Okay. And I'll get to that. The next one tells you the reason why I'm doing that, because the next box over tells you which, it sorts another criteria for you. It's going to sort what type of house you want. Okay. So what I use is when you open that box, I select house, condo, and townhomes, which is the reason why I do 2+ bedrooms, because you know me, Peter, I don't buy two-bedroom houses usually.
Right.
I like to stay 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths if I could. Right.
So, we were actually doing this yesterday, and I think we put for sale by owner somewhere before this, but you're saying it's lower down in the filters. You could put that in.
Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about. So,
no, the houses, condos, and townhomes.
Oh, well, for sale by owner is the first box.
Yeah, and then you can specify. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the first box is the type of seller. This box is what kind of house is it?
So, question, usually condos are a lot less than houses. So that median from 66 to 134, would that cover the condos too?
Yes.
It does.
That's why we do it that way, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I bought one for less once. I'm thinking,
yeah, well,
do you go a little lower to get the condos, or you're close enough? It'd be a sweet deal to get a little lower than that on a condo, maybe not a house.
You found that like with other marketing strategies, so.
Okay. Yeah.
Once you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to notice on the right side of the screen a number of properties that it's presenting you is going to keep shrinking, because you're filtering down the properties, right?
Yeah.
So here's what you're going to need to do if you want more properties. So suppose it comes down to your area only has 4 houses in it.
Yeah.
Right? So, which is fine, because contact those 4 people, because the chances of you making a deal with those 4 people is a lot higher than all the other ones that you couldn't make a deal with. Okay?
Right.
Or the other ones that came up before. So now what you're going to do is, if you look in the map section of Zillow, on the top right-hand side, it says undo border. There's a blue button there that says undo border or unclick border, something like that. If you click on that, it'll take the border away from the parameters you put in. That'll give you more property. Sure. But it's all within driving range. Okay. The other thing you could do is on the bottom right-hand side of the map, there's a plus and a minus button.
Oh, sure.
I hit the minus button no more than twice, and it zooms out. By then, I could take a property that's got 4 or 5, a search that's got 4 or 5 properties on it, and turn it into 15, 18, 20 usually.
Okay.
So now, once we do that, we're going to click on one of the properties, right? And we're going to open it up, and the screen's going to pop up, and on the left-hand side is going to be all the pictures of the house, right? On the right-hand side is a description of the property. Correct?
Sure.
So if you scroll down in that description, and Zillow keeps moving this because they sometimes put it in the middle of the page. Usually it's at the very bottom of the page. It'll tell you the owner's phone number, or it says the property listing contact information or something, property owner, something like that.
Yeah, but not the realtor, because you'll see agent, realtor, call realtor to buy it, but that's totally something else, right?
So what that is advertisements. Those realtors pay to be there. Because
they really have, and they have no connection to that house, do they?
No, they just pay to be there because they're looking for leads.
Yeah, it's funny how they park it right there. You think that's connected to the house, but it's not at all.
Right. Yeah. So you need to scroll down. It's very, it's not anything fancy. It's just typed words, and you grab that phone number. Okay. Now, in today's day and age, it is a lot simpler than when you and I first started, because 99% of those phone numbers are cell phones.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what we do. We text that phone number. So once we have that phone number, we text it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing we text is whatever the address is. We'll say it's 123 Main Street, right? You text, is 123 Main Street still for sale? They say yes. They're always going to say, do you want to see it? Can I show it to you? Blah, blah, blah. You don't answer any of those questions. You send the next text. Okay. Are you the owner? If they say yes, then you move on. If they say no and blah, 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 they're going to give you all these, blah, blah, blah. You text them, can you get me in touch with the owner?
That's a great lesson in communication and controlling a conversation, just what you said. Because I'm sure people can very easily get distracted when people ask questions. But if you watch some talented, maybe news reporters or interviewers or just people that communicate well, just know what you want in your own mind and just ask the question. I've seen people do it. You think the other guy's going to get upset because you didn't answer all their, it has a roof and it's pretty. They won't, because they get distracted as easily as you would. So don't get distracted. Just ask
don't go that rabbit hole. Yeah, don't go down that rabbit hole.
You'll never get out of it.
Ask the question, expect to get the answer, yes or no. So the first question is 123 Main Street still for sale? Second question is, are you the owner?
Yes.
Third question is, would you consider renting to me? Or you can use the word leasing, whatever you're comfortable with. Would you consider leasing to me for a year or two and then sell it?
Mm.
Or better way, would you consider renting for a year or two and then sell it to me?
Mm-hmm.
That's the right question. Would you consider renting to me for a year or two and then sell it to me?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And if they say yes, then you get on the phone with them. Okay. Now, there are some people, like my coaching clients, that do a lot of this. Okay. You could not do this manually if you want. You can automate it a bit. We use a website called My Plus Leads. I should call them and get affiliate commission from them. I tell everybody to go there and I get nothing from them. So My Plus Leads, and that's a for sale by owner site. And you can get a bunch of leads, 30, 40, 50, 100, 150 leads. We use a software called Text Magic. Mm-hmm. Text Magic doesn't cost anything. It costs $4 a month for a phone number and 0.5 cent per text coming and going. So you only pay if you use it. You pay $4 a month for the phone number. But what it does is it doesn't have, now your phone number is not connected to the phone if you're worried about that. If you're worried about some stalker or something like that. So what we do is we take the My Plus leads and we take them out of My Plus leads. I think My Plus leads cost $29 a month. We take that spreadsheet and we upload it to Text Magic and we text about 25 names a day with these questions. Mm-hmm. And once we get somebody on the phone, okay, we're going to ask them. In fact, I got to pull this up. So hang on a second. Forgot to pull it up earlier. So once we have them, oh, great. Once we had them on the phone, we are going to use our scripts.
So that's when we use the script to get the rest of the information for what we need to know about the house, details.
Right. So I should have pulled this up earlier. So let me just pull this up because I didn't write it in my notes.
Mm-hmm.
So here you go. You ready?
Yeah.
So once you get them on the phone, so at this point we've texted them and they've said yes, right? you're going to say something like, hi, this is Bill. And obviously, if your name is not Bill, you don't say Bill because people do that.
So you say, this is not Bill.
Yeah.
That works.
This is
not
Peter.
Bill.
This is Peter.
Yeah. Use
Hi,
my name.
Yeah.
Use my name. I'll
Please,
give you my address for the checks too.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, this is Bill. I was just texting you a few minutes ago about the property you have for sale. And then you just stop talking. Or you say the property for sale at 123 Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
And then just pause for a moment. They'll be like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. And then you'll say, it sounds like I might have caught you at a bad time or in the middle of something. And then don't say anything. And they'll be like, no. I got time. I could talk. Right. Or they'll be like, yeah, I am. Can you call me back in an hour? Right?
I'm glad you're saying that because that's really important. Because people are going to be a little nervous probably the first few times doing this, and they're going to go blah 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 blah, and you're not going to know what's going on the other end. If the guy's interested, if he cares, if he hates you, he loves you. So stop and let the person feed back, and you'll find that they're usually pretty nice and they're actually interested because they do want to sell the house.
Right.
Pause. Zip it. And everybody at home listening, I want you to try this with your spouse. Say something to them, and then don't say anything.
Yeah.
For the rest of the day.
Yeah. No, that's not good advice, Peter.
Until they're done talking?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So once you do that, you're going to say, so I'm going to start from the beginning, okay? Just because we kind of went off on a tangent there. So, hi, this is Bill. I was just texting you a few minutes ago about the property you had for sale at 123 Main Street. And you would let them say, oh, yeah, okay. And then you'd say, it sounds like I might have caught you at a bad time or in the middle of something.
Oh, no. I'm okay. I can talk.
All right, good. I'm a real estate professional home buyer looking to do a rent to own or a lease option with the property you have advertised. That wouldn't work for you, would it?
And why not? I love the reluctant question.
Yeah, so I get a lot of support tickets on that. It's meant to be a negative comment. Okay.
Yeah, because you can't push people because they'll push back. So pull back a little, they'll pull in a little bit.
We're being a reluctant buyer, yes.
Yeah.
So the next thing you would say is perfect. It sounds like you really want to sell the house quickly. Once you chat with them for a couple of minutes. So you say, perfect. It sounds like you want to sell the house quickly. And it looks like a sweet deal. But I'm not sure we can actually help you only because I don't think you need us. Why don't you just list it with a realtor or relist it with a realtor? And they'll tell you their whole story. No, I don't like realtors, or I did this, or, they'll tell you, you'll be surprised at how many yucky stories you're going to hear about realtors. Okay.
Yeah.
Once you get through that, you drop the bombshell. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do if you don't sell the house? Are you going to rent it?
And that's before you even found out if they want or not want. You throw that in.
That's it. What are you going to do if you don't want to sell the house? Are you going to rent it?
Yeah, if you don't sell the house. So you're looking down the road because they've had the house on the market for a few weeks, a month or two. And it's not that easy to sell a house by yourself. Most people can't, and they go do something else.
Right.
And every week goes by, they're starting to think, oh boy, this isn't working. Now what am I going to do?
At that particular point, you're going to say to them, can I send you 3 offers? Or can I send you some, you don't say 3 offers. Can I send you some offers?
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind? Okay. So now we're going to cover the offers. So here are the 3 offers. So the first offer is going to be a slot deal. That's a sandwich lease option transfer. If you go to Flipping Houses for Rookies /free stuff, scroll down to the bottom of the page, there is actually a video there that says slot deals. If you want this, during this virus, I have a free course where you can get into a portal and it shows you all how to make all these deals. We were selling it for like $197 or something. I made it free because I want people to be able to make money. And if you want that course, I don't know the name of the URL. If you go to Flipping Houses for Rookies, you can go to courses. You can see it there. Or just send me a support ticket and I will send you a link. But it's free as long as we're in lockdown, it's going to be for free. Okay? As long as the United States government says we have to stay home, the course is for free. Getting back to the 3 deals, the slot deal is a sandwich lease option transfer. And what this does is it allows you to give them their asking price and a payment amount that they're paying, their cost, right?
That's covering their expenses on rent. I mean, mortgage, insurance, taxes, whatever, dues, fees.
Right. Then you're going to go find a buyer who wants to do this rent to own for 2 years while they get qualified for a mortgage. And that buyer is going to pay that rent amount and do all the maintenance, do all the repairs. They're going to completely take care of the house.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get paid to find the seller, like what we're going to show you how to do today, and then go find the buyer.
Mm.
And what happens is if you suppose you had a house, Pete, that was worth $100,000 and you can't sell it, I will tell you I will pay $100,000, but it's going to take me 2 years to get you paid off.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to sublease the property, or I'm going to go find a buyer for you that will take that property over.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I could do that is because 81% of the population looking for the house, this is pre-virus, by the way, right? 81% of the population looking for a property can't qualify for a mortgage. So we put these buyers in houses. They'll pay a premium price because they're paying monthly. They can't pay the full amount. So they're paying monthly, right?
Mm-hmm.
We put them in the house and then we help them get qualified for a mortgage. Right? So we give them 2 years.
Right.
Our owner is going to get a premium price because, no different than I got a $2,500 laptop sitting in front of me, a Mac, right? If I were to sell it to you for $1,000 today, right? You'd pay $1,000, right? If you gave me cash.
Right.
But if you swiped your credit card and paid over the next 24 months, you're paying more than $1,000.
Sure.
And that's all we're doing with these sellers is they know they can't pay us today, so they're willing to pay a premium price because they can pay monthly. Right?
Right. And he's lucky to get that full price because if you sold it on the market, it'd be thousands off of that between fees and realtors and all that. He wouldn't get the 100,000. So the price is a bonus to him.
Yeah, after all the closings we've done, we found that the average cost to sell a house is between 12 and 15%.
Man, you don't know that when you go in. You think a few percent, but it's that whole amount.
Well, most people think it's just 6% for a realtor, and if they're, if they're selling on their own, they think they're going to pay the lawyer $1,000, and that's all it's going to cost them to sell, and it's just not true.
Right.
Okay.
So forget the full price, they do have to wait a little bit, but for waiting a little bit, you get the full price.
Right.
So it's fair.
So what we're going to do is we're going to sign a lease. Actually, we're going to sign an option agreement with our seller, and we're going to transfer it to our buyer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the seller, I'm going to buy an option agreement. I'm going to buy the rights to sell your house for $100. And we're going to sign a one-page document. You're giving me rights. And because you're giving me rights, I don't need a license or a fee or anything like that because I'm now I have an equity share in the property.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't need a license or anything like that. Then I'm going to take those rights and I'm going to go sell them to my buyer for $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, right? Why would my buyer pay that? Because first of all, they can. And second of all, how are they going to find that deal otherwise?
Yeah, they'll never get into a house if they have a problem with being qualified for mortgage right now. They'll be stuck in an apartment. Somebody doesn't like it.
And they're not going to go to a realtor and expect a realtor to do this because 99% of the realtors I know don't know how to do this.
Mm.
Right?
If they do, they don't really want to, do they?
They don't make enough money.
Yeah. They get that 1 month commission, not the whole commission on a full sale.
And it's okay if you find that rare, which you will find. You'll find that realtor that wants to do that, right? They have an office and they have people, they have agents that do that, right?
Mm.
But those are, anyways, you get it.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're making money to transfer the documents. Okay. So that's a slot deal. That's our first offer. So that's a full price offer. So if they're asking 100, we give them 100. Even if that 100,000 is worth more, is more than what it's worth, we still make that offer.
Yeah, it could be a $90,000 or $95,000 house, huh?
Right. We still make that offer. Now,
Yeah.
who's giving them that offer?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the next offer we're going to make them is what we call a rent to own,
Mm-hmm.
which is very similar to the slot deal. It's a lease option deal. The difference is we stay in the deal. And the reason why we stay in the deal is because the seller is going to give us 15% of equity and allow us to make 20 or 25% monthly for cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what happens is where we have the $100,000 house, that means that the seller is going to sign an option with us for at least for 85,000 as the most.
Mm-hmm.
And if the payments will say $1,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna let us rent for $800 a month.
Mm.
So we can sell to our buyer for 100,000 and make the 15%, the $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
And we can rent to our seller for $1,000 a month because we're only paying 800.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's money now with a deposit,
Mm.
money monthly with the spread
Mm-hmm.
of the rents, and money later with the spread of the equity, the 15%.
Can that monthly fee move a little bit? Like give the owner maybe $900 and charge $1,100 or $1,200 to the buyer on the rent?
Yeah.
So those numbers can move around a little bit, but the idea is we wind up having the cash flow from it. Just
Well, we're staying in
the
the deal. See, with a slot deal, there's no equity and there's no cash flow. So we just take a fee and we run.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the difference between these deals is the more money you make from a deal, the more time you can spend on the deal.
Mm.
And when I say you're going to make money now, money monthly, money later, because I answered a support ticket on this the other day, it's not on every deal. Like with a slot deal, you're not doing that. You're only making money now.
Right.
Lease option, you're doing money now, money monthly, money later. A rent to own or not a rent to own. Yeah, rent to own, you do it that way. A subject to or getting the deed is that way. You make money now, money monthly, money later. A rehab retail deal, you just make money later.
That's true. It's not now. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not monthly. It's like you wait.
You can do that if you follow my system. You can do that because when we borrow money, we make money now, but there's no money monthly.
Yeah.
Because suppose we need to borrow $100,000 for the house and the renovations. We might borrow 110.
Yeah, so you're buying a little extra based on the profit you're going to get. So you get the same amount, but you pull a little bit now so you have some.
Right.
And you make a little less later, but you got it all together. Some now, some later.
I mean, just to brag, you and I brag, right? The deal we just did, which was a couple months ago at this point, we bought a $200,000 house for $27,500.
Yep.
We were supposed to spend $45,000 on it. I think we spent about $55,000 on it. We made some changes, but let's say it's 60,000.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of room there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
we had a $40,000 wholesale profit and said no. Right?
Yeah.
In the end, I think we got a check for 93 grand or something like that. Right? So, when I say, I have money now, if we wanted to, we used all our own money, but if we wanted to borrow money, there's plenty of room. I mean, we could have borrowed 100 grand on that house and had money now.
Yeah, we could have taken half the profit now just to put in our pocket and take the other half later on.
Right.
But we didn't need to, so it was all right. But you could.
So we would make a slot deal offer, which is full asking price. Then we would make a rent to own offer, which is 15% or be 85% of the full value, which is 15% equity. Right. Now, remember what Nelson Rockefeller said. This is important.
Yeah.
Nelson Rockefeller said in the early 1900s, the secret to success is to own nothing but control everything. This is the secret sauce that Nelson was talking about, is these type of deals.
Yeah.
Right? You rent to own and then you sublease to a tenant buyer. So what you're getting paid for is matchmaking.
Which is what a realtor does. So it's not unusual. It's just different scenarios where these type of houses, a lot of these a realtor can't handle because the buyer doesn't have money for the down payment. He doesn't qualify, so he can't buy from a realtor. Right. Sometimes the seller can't sell, it's over leveraged or whatever the reason is. And even if you pay that $85,000 on a $100,000 house, the seller is in the same position as if he sold it with a realtor, because what you said about the closing costs, he's not getting $100,000. So when you give him 85, that's what he's going to get anyways. The difference is you're guaranteeing it's going to happen and you're there to close now instead of waiting and maybe not selling it. There
Which is why those numbers match, because it's 15%, not by accident.
Yeah.
It's 15% because, like you said, if you pay cash, that's what he would net anyways.
Yeah.
So
if the guy says, why would I take 85,000? He says, well, how much you think you're going to get when you sell it with the realtor if you wind up there after all the closing costs and all that? And he finds out it's 85. He's in the same spot, except he's got the deal done.
Right. So that's the difference between the slot deal and the option deal. Okay. So those are two offers. The third offer, which, by the way, once you negotiate the deal, you'll get a non-refundable 3 to 5% deposit from your buyer for the money now.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll get 20 to 25% cash flow.
Yeah.
And then you'll have 15% minus whatever they gave you for the, so you get 15% equity.
Yeah.
But it's not really 15% equity because you took money for the deposit, you subtract that from there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had a $15,000 equity and you took $5,000 for deposit, they still only owe you $10,000. So you bring the money now pulls the equity forward, so you get the money now instead of later.
Right, you don't get the equity until the house is sold. It's money. It's money in the bank.
Right, but you could, in smaller deals like that, you could pull the equity forward by getting the money now.
Sure. Well, the deposit is.
Deposit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, because you want the money now.
Yeah. So, all right. Now, the third offer is a cash deal. This is nothing new. This is something I learned from Ron LeGrand,
Mm-hmm.
right? And which, by the way, you're only making or doing this cash deal for one reason and only one reason. You don't expect anybody to say yes, although they will.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't expect anybody to say yes. The reason why you're doing this is because if, Peter, you had a house for $100,000 and I call you up and you don't know anything about a lease option or a slot deal or nothing, most people don't know what they are. They never heard of them.
Right.
And I start talking to you about giving you payments, you're thinking in your head, just give me the $100,000. What do I got to take payments for?
Yeah.
Like,
what are you poor?
Yeah. How much?
Don't you have any money?
Yeah, that's what they usually say, right?
Yeah, if you don't have any money, why you? I could pay for it. Then you pay for it.
Yeah. Right. So the reason why you're giving them the cash deal is to get all those conversations out of their head.
Mm.
It's like, okay, so I have a formula. It's the Ron LeGrand formula. We use it, and that's what we do. So that formula is ARV, which is after renovated value. That's it. That's if the house is pretty, what's it worth?
Right.
Right. That's a pretty house price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If a house is ugly, then you're still trying to figure out what it would sell for if it was pretty.
Oh yeah, you want to know what's going to sell for when you buy it. That's the whole point.
Right. So the formula is after renovated value or the comps times 70% minus repairs.
Mm-hmm.
Now I use $25 per square foot for repairs. That's an average.
Yeah. But
it can go anywhere from $10 a square foot all the way up to $30 a square foot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, depending on how much repairs you're doing. But my $25 after doing so many renovations has averaged out to be $25, and that's replacing the kitchen, replacing the bathrooms, that's doing rugs or floors, that's doing painting, some landscaping. Right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to start doing siding and windows and furnaces and roofs, then you just add you add more money to it.
Yeah.
The most I think I've ever spent is about $35 a square foot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's doing roofs and windows and furnaces. I think the house we just did that I was talking about, we did all that.
Yeah, we did.
Let's say it's 60,000. We didn't spend that much, but we did a roof. We didn't do windows because the previous owner just did the windows, but we did everything else.
Yeah.
We did a roof, we did a furnace, we did
gas lines, plumbing lines.
Yeah, kitchen.
Gas,
yeah. Bathrooms. We had an illegal bathroom. We made it legal. We did all that stuff. Okay. So here's the thing. This formula, people call it the Mayo formula, maximum allowable offer, because that's the way Ron LeGrand teaches it. But the truth of the matter is it's actually a cash price. Doesn't matter if the house is pretty or ugly. If the house is pretty and they want cash, what you do is you do ARV times 70%, and you just don't do minus repairs if it doesn't need repairs.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do is I do $5,000 just because. I mean, any house could take $5,000, even if it's a $2 million house, it could take $5,000.
Sure.
It doesn't take long to spend $5,000 fixing a house up.
Yeah, it's cleaning it up, landscaping, get rid of some things, sweep it out, have people go and clean it, detail it a little bit.
So the three offers are the slot deal, the lease option, or the rent to own, and then a cash price. You put those three offers in a offer. What am I trying? A letter of intent. Letter of intent. Okay, and you send it to the owner. Now, if you're going to do a letter of intent, you can go. So first of all, if you want, you can go online and you could type in lease documents. You can type in option documents. They're not any fancy documents. Mine are, because we've used them so much, we really critique them. So my documents work, but you don't need my documents to get started to do a couple deals. The other thing is you can type into Google letter of intent and you can find a letter of intent. Now the stuff we use is a little bit more hyped up because we've experimented with it and tested with it, and it's got, proven to work, but you don't need that to make one or two deals to get started and get some money in your pocket. Okay. If you don't have any money, then you're not going to buy documents from me. Right? Just go online and get some documents and get started. Are they the best documents? No. Will they get you started? Yes. Once they get you started, you make some money, then you buy the right documents, right?
Sure.
So here's the point. When you go to when the site is up, it's not up right now at this podcast, but it will be by the time we release this podcast. Let me see. Today's the 23rd, 24, 25, 26, 27. I think April 28th or so, this podcast will be released, 2020. Once we release this podcast, you're going to be able to go to flippinghouses4rookies.com, real estate virtually. We actually have on that page, once you see the video, there's actually a swipe file that you can get from me. Okay. What that means is that I actually have an Excel calculator. Okay. That all you do is you go get 4 or 5 comps off of Zillow, eAppraisal, Redfin. You go get those comps and you put them in this calculator, and it automatically makes the 3 offers for you. It calculates everything we were just talking about. It just completely calculates the offers for you. So you could, and I'm gonna be offensive, Peter. So for those people that don't like, cover your ears. Exactly. You don't like it. A 4th grader could do this, for Christ's sake. I mean, a 4th grader could do this, honest to God. So I've made it real easy.
I mean, all the percentages are in there and the breakdowns. It just does it for you.
All you do is you put the comparables in there and the rest is done for you. Oh, you got to put the average rent price in there. When you go on the home values, Zillow home values, you got to put the average rent in there.
Right.
Everything else is preset. You can change some stuff. If you don't like it, you can change it, but you don't have to. So the Excel spreadsheet does all the work for you. Now, you don't have to do that your first couple deals, but I'm telling you, if you go to flippinghouses4rookies.com /real estate virtually, then you'll find those tools there, and you can get those swipe files from. There's a few other things there, and I'm going to tell you about those too. Okay. So now that you have these numbers, you're going to actually make what we call an offer pack. Okay. Yeah. So what that is the first page is a cover letter. Like, hi, it was nice talking to you on the phone, and, blah, blah, blah. Some just conversational stuff. The second page is a letter of intent with the 3 offers that we just talked about. Actually, there's 4 offers because we've added a 4th offer to our offer pack. The 4th offer is actually, hey, if you want, we could be much like the realtor and charge 1 month's rent to consult you on how to do this. And if you just watch this video at flippinghouses4rookies.com/real estate virtually, you have enough experience that you can charge somebody consultation fees, because most people don't know the stuff that we're teaching today. Yeah. So you could charge somebody 1 month's rent up front and make $1,500 by teaching them how to do a lease option.
Yeah. By the way, even though you say a lot of people don't know about this has been around a long time. I've said this on other podcasts. My broker is an old Italian with a broken accent. He's my garage attendant, repair the car, has his own company, but he's still broken. He's done this in the old days. Other people have done this. I've seen it. It's just not that familiar, but it's been around a long time. It's totally standard. It's not some new crazy thing.
It's been around for thousands of years, more than realtors, that's for sure, because the realtors came on in 1950.
Yeah.
So back to the offer pack. So you're going to have a letter, like a cover letter. Then you're going to have the letter of intent, right, which is the 3 offers. And then we have a frequently asked questions section. Right. And then we have the benefits to the seller section. Like, why would they want to do this?
Right.
Okay. Now, some of the stuff you can get if you go to flippinghouses4rookies.com/free stuff, you can get, I call it it's called lease option explained. That's an older version of the frequently asked questions. There is a newer version that works better. And when you go to flippinghouses4rookies.com/real estate virtually, the newer version will be there. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, the offer pack will be there complete, because there's a couple things we do there, like the second page of the offer. When you open it up, it says sold on the top of it, and we put the picture of their house and the address below it. It's like a psychological marketing thing.
Just imagine if.
Yeah.
Or when.
So the offer pack is a cover letter. It's the letter of intent and frequently asked questions, and then all the benefits to the seller, so they can, if they share it with somebody else, they can see what the benefits are.
Okay.
So now that we've constructed the offer, we've constructed the offer with the Excel spreadsheet, or by the way, I'm showing you how to do this right now, because you don't have to get my documents. The swipe files, they're extremely cheap. They're less than a good meal will cost you. Okay, they're not expensive. You get these documents, and now you construct your offer in this Word document, right? And the first thing you would want to do is they'll want to email to them. So you would email to them. Okay.
Sure.
I don't just do that because my virtual assistant, when they do that, we were following up with them. But here's what happens. A couple of things I found that happens. Number one, it gets put into a folder and forgotten. Number two, if I'm talking to the husband, she doesn't tell the wife. He doesn't tell the wife. If I'm talking to the wife, he doesn't tell the husband. Right?
Sure.
Unless they print it and they're really serious, which is a small percentage of them. Because you would think that people that want to list, people that put their house for sale by owner, like, are dying to sell their house. Go ahead, Peter. Tell them.
Well, they might be, but I mean,
the percentages are low.
Who's that organized in their life? Who follows through? Who takes care of things? People get in trouble because they're messy. You know, we do other things. We watch TV. We don't feel like it, whatever. And it's really easy to ignore an email. It's like a tiny piece of print. You can go delete. I mean, you can forget it. Oh, I deleted it by accident.
They can open it up and see one number, and it's like, I can't do that. And they just make a decision. Okay.
Right, because you don't see the whole thing on an email. You have to scroll through. Unless you print it and you have all the. But when you have paper in your hand, you're going to go like this. You're going to see it.
Right.
It's funny. As much as we're in an online world and online this, that, and eBay and Amazon and all that, we see that magazines and hard copy is kind of coming back, aren't we?
Yeah. So if you don't want to listen to us or take our word for it, which is fine, because maybe you're skeptical. Here's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to go out to your mailbox, and when you get your mail, look at how much junk mail is in there. It's a lot less than it was 10 years ago. A lot less than 20 years ago.
Mm.
Okay. There's still some, but there's not much. Okay. So people don't get things in the mail. Closest thing that people get to the mail is a bill. Right? Unless you're like me. My mailbox is an ATM machine, because I get rents in there. I get people send me checks for online stuff. So my mailbox is an ATM, but I've made it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not just bad news. It's cha-ching.
I'm going home from Florida next week. You want to know why I'm going home from Florida next week? Because I'm tapping out my credit line, and all the checks are at home. They have to be deposited. So I've been here for a month, it'll be a month. And I got to go home because the money's stacking up. Tens of thousands of dollars. It's like stacking up.
Only you.
It's got to get deposited. Right? How many people have that problem in the middle of a virus?
Hey, Bill, I didn't tell you this yet, but one of our tenants texted me, hey, give me the address to send the money order. I gave him my address, Bill.
There you go.
So somebody's coming out, put it in the bank, but I'll see it. I'll grab a hold of it.
Good. So let's recap. So we went on to Zillow. We found a good farm market where houses are selling fairly quick, right? Through the home value site. We went into Zillow. We typed in we used the filter, and we found somebody, some houses that have for sale by owners. We scrolled to the bottom of the page. We got their phone number. We texted them, hey, is 123 Main Street still for sale? Are you the owner? Right? Would you be willing to sell? Would you be willing to lease the house to me for a year or two and then sell it to me? They said yes. Then we called them up, and we had this short conversation, which I showed you. We talked about that script. They said yes. They said they would like to see your offers. You don't tell them 3 offers. You say, I have some offers. Can I send them to you? You then construct the offers based on what we told you, or you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, free stuff, and watch the videos so you know how to structure them, or you grab my offer calculator and use that. And in any event, you construct the offers, the 3 offers, which is really simple. If you use the calculator, literally a 4th grader could do it. I'm not even joking. Okay. You then transpose them or take them off of the Excel spreadsheet, which, by the way, I made a deal with a coaching client the other day, which I have to get Emma on, that pretty soon you're not even going to have to take it off of the Excel spreadsheet and put it onto this. I'm going to do a merge. So once you put it in the Excel spreadsheet, it automatically goes to the other document and populates the document. So you didn't even need to move them. We're working on that right now, right? All automated.
Nice.
Okay. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to send the offer to them, this 8-page Word document or PDF document, however you do it. You're going to send it to them by email. Except email isn't enough, so we use snail mail. I use clicksend.com. So clicksend.com. What you do is you upload the document to their website. I think it cost me like $3 because it's 8 pages. They print it. Excuse me. They print it, fold it, put it in an envelope, stamp it, and mail it.
Come on, Bill. You can't put it in an envelope yourself and put the stamp on it?
So the answer is no.
No, you don't want to.
No. See, you have to be part of my life to understand why some of these things come about.
No, I do know.
Right?
What's your reason?
My VA's in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I send mail from the Philippines?
Yeah.
Because she makes these offers for me. The stuff I'm telling you right now, she does for me.
Yeah.
I have a VA. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I have a VA I pay $3 an hour for.
Man, she must be loaded.
$3 an hour. That's big money in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But you can pay between $3 and $5 an hour. She works 25 hours a week. And she does all this for me.
Nice.
Okay. Now, you're going to call them because you're going to now the offer pack is going to come in the mail. Like you said, it's a physical thing. Now it's going to be on the coffee table, on the kitchen table. So the spouse is going to see it. Somebody else is going to see it. It's going to remind them in a week that, oh my God, I should talk to this guy again. Right? It's a nudge. So I would definitely mail it just because the physical mail will have more of effect than the email. Okay.
Well, beside that, isn't it just a marketing or a sales thing that you have to tell people something more than once, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Yeah, you just have to keep repeating things. Or else McDonald's would never advertise again.
Yeah, exactly. So now, once you mail it, you give them a call 4 or 5 days later. Say, hey, what'd you think of my offers? Now, in my particular case, the VA sends all these out, and then I go into my CRM, and I know who to call every day because I know when they've got their offer pack, and I just call them up and say, hey, this is Bill. What'd you think of the offer? So all the deal hunting and all that stuff is all away from me. But we're not talking about that today, which I have a new system that we just released last week, which is how you can hire a virtual assistant, how you can interview them, and how you could set up all the CRM, all this stuff we're talking about. I have an actual training portal that shows you how to do it as an investor. And what I did is there's a separate username and password for the VA. So all you do is hire the virtual assistant. That's what VA stands for, the virtual assistant. And you give them this username and password, and all the training's done for them. all the training's done for the virtual assistant. I've done all the training for you. So if you get involved with this program, and I don't know the URL, just go to Flipping Houses for Rookies or send me a support ticket, and I'll get you the URL if you want that. That's not why I'm here, right? I'll train your VA for you on how to do all this for a few $100.
Bill, how much would it cost to train my wife?
For you, Peter, I'm going to give you a special price.
Yeah, 500.
It's $10,000 in cash, and I want a box of cigars a month until she gets. A box of cigars is about $250 a month.
That's what I figured.
Because I've been watching you trying to train your wife for freaking 20 years. I've known you, and you haven't gotten anywhere. You keep telling me you're getting somewhere, but
hope springs eternal. I'm just about to turn the corner, Bill. Just turning the corner.
So, Peter, what you don't know is you and I have a lot in common because I can't train my wife either.
I understand.
That's why I went and got a $3 an hour VA, and I tell her what to do, and she listens.
Bill, I apologized to my wife last week. I was the reluctant boss. I'm not trying to be her boss. I'm trying to work together, but I know more and I push more. I was trying to be the reluctant guy. I says, I'm really sorry about all this. What do you mean? I really wish you had your own job that makes a lot of money. I have my own job that makes a lot of money, so we wouldn't have to work together. I really apologize up front every day, and it's working better that way. You know, the husband and wife shouldn't have to work together, but we do fairly well. Yeah. I let her get pissed off at the computer just like you do. When it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, I say, honey, that happens all the time. Just keep going. And she gets it. And I just go like this, and it works out.
There you go. All right, so now we've mailed this offer. We're on the phone with them 4 or 5 days later. What do we do? Here's what we do. We negotiate. How do we negotiate? Okay. They already have the numbers. There's not much you have to do because they already have the numbers. Right. But the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to settle on a price. So which one of the 3 offers do they want? They want the slot? Do they want the rent to own, or do they want the cash one?
So does it take much explaining what they mean, or they have Think they have a lot of questions
No.
about them?
Well, they'll have questions, but if you've listened to a few of these podcasts and just listen to me talking, you'll answer those questions because they're not hard. To be honest with you, if you just read the frequently asked questions, the answers are there.
Oh, right.
So if you go to Flipping Houses for Rookies /free stuff, flippinghouses4rookies.com/free stuff, the lease option explained is your script.
Okay. That's the answers to the commonly asked questions, what you think they might read, but they might not. Just say it again. Okay.
That's right. Okay. So, but this is valuable. When I'm telling you, this is, I feel like we've just dipped into the coaching pond.
Yeah.
And my coaching clients pay me thousands of dollars to coach them, right? Hundreds of dollars a month. Okay. And this is, I feel, something I would have a conversation with them because it's that vital. Talk about the price first. Which deal do you want to talk about? Do not, please do not mix talking about deals. If they pick the slot deal, don't talk about anything else except the slot deal. Okay.
All right.
And then if they say no, then go to the next one because they'll get confused otherwise. Yeah. But if they want to talk about the slot deal, then here's what you got to talk about. You got to talk about the price. You got to talk about the monthly payment. And you have to talk about how long it's going to be, the term.
Sure.
That's like less than 1 minute if you do it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to know all three of those things. If they say, no, that's not what I want to do, you then go to the rent to own and you do it again. You talk about the price, you talk about the monthly payment, and you talk about the time.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Don't confuse them because a confused mind says no.
Oh, hell yeah. When somebody doesn't understand, it's just not.
Right. Okay. So obviously, the fourth thing you're going to want to talk about, only if they bring it up, and I tell you the truth, they got to bring it up with me sometimes 2 or 3 times before I even hear them. That's the deposit. How much of a deposit are you going to give me? Well, let me explain to you how it works. And I start talking about how we're going to rent at 81%. And I don't answer their question. It's called a no answer.
Yeah.
Unless they bring it up again.
Well, that also helps them understand the scenario. It's not like you're buying the house to live in it. You're not. You're doing this as an investment. So you're not going to hand them $10,000 and then get $10,000 from the buyer and wind up, even.
So write this down because this is absolute gold I'm going to give you right now. Yep. If they ask for a deposit, I always start this way. The way I make money in the deal is the difference between what I have to pay you and what I collect from the buyer. So what's the least you could take? Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it again. The way I make money in this deal is by the difference between what I have to pay you and what I collect from the buyer. What's the least you can take? So that's the rebuttal handling for I want a deposit. And then you ever hear of this sales tactic? It's called the flinch. Have you ever heard that?
No. I know buyers flinch. What's this?
So let's role play real quick, okay? So you be the seller, I'll be the buyer.
Yeah.
And then you give me a number. Just give me any number, okay?
All right. So for the deposit, I'd like $8,000.
Okay, so Peter, well, that's not what I had in mind. So just say to me, what about a deposit?
Oh, okay.
And then give me a number later. So
okay, yeah. So what about a deposit, Bill?
Yeah, so very often I don't do that, but I will tell you this: that I make my money based on how much I have to pay you and what I collect from the seller. I get the difference. Mm-hmm. So what's the least you can take?
Well, 4,000.
Ooh,
The flinch. Ooh, 4,000.
4,000. I wasn't thinking that much.
Okay.
So that's the flinch. Works amazingly.
It sounds like it's natural. Do you ever ask them what they need the deposit for? Because I know
Oh yeah,
you have help
that's
people
all.
too,
That's
right?
all. Yeah, we talk about that in coaching, and that's not, obviously all that. But all my point is that the four things when you're negotiating, you talk about, you got to settle on the price, settle on the monthly payment, have another cigar, Bill. Settle on the price, settle on the monthly payment, settle on the term, the length, and then only if they bring up the deposit, you settle on that.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Do not take their first number. If you said to me $500, I would have still flinched.
Okay.
Because they would have thought they should have asked more.
Right.
They would have thought they were too low.
Mm. This is a psychological component in here, huh?
Yes. So at this point, you should have a deal. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to draft up our one-page lease option agreement, which you can find with the other documents at flippinghousesforrookies.com/real estate virtual when that page is up. Okay. What I do is I draft this one-page lease option, which is really simple. It's not the actual binding contract, but they don't know that. It's not the actual lease and the option. It's just a binding contract. That's what I should say. Okay. Yep. So what I do is I draft this document up. We use DocuSign, DocuSign, DocuSign.com. We upload the version of the lease option without my signature. We send it to the seller. The seller reviews it because it's real simple. All it is just basic numbers. And they sign it and send it to me. So in DocuSign, they can just do it on their mobile phone. They can do it on their computer. They just put an electronic signature on there and it comes back to me signed.
Yeah.
Real easy to do, right?
Yeah, this is normal stuff realtors use anyways, right?
Yep. It's where I figured out how to use it because they send them to me all the time. All right, so now you have a qualified seller and you made a deal, right?
Yeah.
But you need to now qualify the property, which is what I was talking about earlier. So what you can do is you can go to Zillow.com. Write this URL down. So Zillow.com/marketing/3D, D like in dog, 3D hyphen homes. So it's Zillow.com/marketing/3D hyphen homes. There you can download an app onto your phone and you can do a virtual tour. So you have your seller download the app on their phone and do a virtual tour of the property and send you the link.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said earlier, you're going to have questions. So then once they do, and even if you don't have questions, you still need to do this. You tell them that you want to do a walkthrough with them on your FaceTime. Right? And walk through and ask a bunch of questions, make them show the inside of the kitchen cabinets, open the dishwasher, open the refrigerator, show the furnace, tell them to make the furnace turn on, all these things.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Flush the toilet, run the water.
Toilet, yeah, all that stuff. So you make sure that it's actually working. Okay. And then at that point, once you're satisfied with the house, you can then sign the lease and say, I'm ready. Okay. Now, Peter, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Be honest now. I always expect you to be honest, Peter.
I don't know what else to do. I'm not a good liar.
Could you see me on a phone with a seller doing FaceTime, asking them to flush the toilet?
Oh, hell yeah.
You can?
No. You don't want to. You could, but you don't want to.
You know, I figured out another way.
What's that, Bill?
So it's called We Look Now. WeLookNow.com.
See, folks, this is what Bill does in his spare time. He dreams these things up. He goes looking for things.
When you work 80 hours a week, you got to fill your time somehow. Actually, I got a good team. You know I got a really good team.
Yeah.
WeLookNow.com. They have over 45,000 people across the country that will go out and actually inspect the property.
Wow.
So I want to make sure that my words are not misunderstood. They're not going to do a home inspection. They're going to go out and take videos and send you pictures of the property.
Right.
I think it's about $150 or $200. It depends on where in the country, but they're a third party, non-biased, unconnected source that will give you a true evaluation of the property.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
sure.
They go out and inspect it. You spend, the $150 or $200, whatever it is. They go out and inspect it. You get the pictures back. Now you can call the buyer up and say, what about this corner of the roof that's missing?
Yeah, right.
What about this cemetery in the backyard you didn't tell me about?
Yeah, I was thinking, like, you can see a lot of that, though, just online, too. You just go Google it, satellites, you can see the area.
Google Earth, yeah.
I was thinking, like, walk around the property with a phone on the neighborhood, but you can see that. Google. Mm-hmm. And you don't really worry about an actual house inspection, because that doesn't happen until the person actually buys the house down the road. But you don't want to buy something that's going to affect the price and problems to pass on to the next guy either, right?
So that's right. So I want to tell you something. I was in my weekly meetup with my guys in Connecticut, virtually the other day. And the mortgage guy says that they just did a bunch of research because they're mortgage guys. And he says that they did a survey, and I have to get the rest of the numbers from him, but I remember this one number. 38% of the population right now will buy a house virtually sight unseen.
That's, you can buy cars like that now. There's a thing. Yep. It comes out of a dispenser. It's ridiculous.
Here's my point. For anybody that's skeptical at this point, I'm sorry that you're in your own prison. Get out of your own prison, because here's the truth. You're in your own head. You're being introverted. Come out here with the rest of us and knock it off, because here's the truth. What I'm telling you to do is to invest $100 freaking. All you have. What's the rule, Peter? How do you not lose money in real estate?
Don't put any money in.
Okay. So we're putting in $100. Now, if you're that much of a skeptic, use $10. You have to have some money for, legal
Make it legal.
Right. Yeah. But even if you use $100, it makes you more credible. But come on, you got $100. So if this person lied to you and this house is a total wreck, what did it cost you? $100 freaking? Really? You don't have the deed in your name. Now, if you're going to do a cash deal and you're going to go out there, then pay an inspector to go out there and look at it. Pay the $400 and get an inspector to go out there. It's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, why do you have to go?
Right. You're not stuck with the numbers you sent on the letter of intent, because that's before a lot of stuff happened. If you find things are different, you didn't do any deal yet, change it and then make a new offer. Everything's fluid in this world until you pull the trigger.
Right. So now I've looked at the house. I'm completely content. I signed my portion of the lease option. Now, to end off here, I'm just going to kind of buzz through this. Now you want to advertise the house. No, because now you're ready. You want to advertise the house, right? So the best thing you could do is go on Facebook Marketplace. I have 3 students right now that are using Let Go, I've not used it, but they claim it rocks.
Let Go?
Yep. Like, let go of your stuff. Let go.
Yeah. Yeah. Haven't heard that one.
And they claim that it rocks. We use Craigslist. It rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason why it rocks, Peter, because what are we not doing? We're not selling a house. We're selling financing.
Yeah, it's really the opportunity to buy a house that they can otherwise not get into. It's not like the house is beautiful, and it doesn't have to be beautiful because they're living in an apartment that probably isn't beautiful. And this is at least a house that might not be beautiful, but it's a house with a lawn and it's theirs eventually.
Exactly. So
what does Let Go? What does that do?
it's an app. It sells things. It's like kind of like the newest version of eBay.
Wow.
Right? But they do houses and cars and all that kind of stuff.
Huh.
Right? Now, here's the magic. You should write this down because this took me years to figure out. The ad should say this: house for sale, no bank qualifying. Or house for sale, owner financing available.
Mm-hmm.
You put that, here's what I do. You put that ad in Marketplace and you boost it. You spend $20 or $50. I usually spend between 50 and 100, and I boost it in the zip codes I want to be able to market in, which is the zip code of the house, by the way, or some adjacent places.
Right.
And I list it that way. Okay. If you put it on Zillow under the for rent, not for sale, you'll get hits from there. Only problem I find with Zillow is you can get applications and you can get people to send you stuff, but I find that people that shop on Zillow, they think it's a great idea, but they don't go out and look at the house. They want to fill out the application. You know, they want to sit at their computer. They don't want to go look at the property. They don't want to participate. They're just dreamers. But you know, that's my take on it.
Yeah.
Right.
So Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and Let Go.
Yep.
Okay.
And you'll have enough leads. I like to put signs around the neighborhood. So if it's in my backyard, I'll do that. There are companies, which we're working on right now, there are companies that will actually put signs out for you too. Okay.
Yep.
If you're going to use a realtor, like we spoke about earlier, you could have your Facebook Marketplace just have their phone number there and just send them to the realtor and let them get a bunch of leads. Because what I didn't say is that if the realtor is clever, which I'm sorry, most of them aren't. I'm being so mean, but it's true. If they're really clever, what they will do is they'll take those calls, especially if they have other properties for rent. And because they're only going to rent ours once, but they'll probably get 50, 60, 100 phone calls. They can use them, either turn them into another deal or turn them into buyers and have them buy a house. Maybe
they're leads. I mean, leads are leads.
Right.
Do something with them. If nobody's calling, the phone ain't ringing, you're in trouble.
So some people will think, why would you want the realtor to do that? Because all I care about is the realtor gets me one lease, and they're going to do that. So when I talk to the realtor, I'm going to be like, all the other leads, you can keep them. Because you're going to get one for me or two for me or three for me. You're going to present them to me. It's worth it for me to give them those leads, because really what did it cost me? $50 on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's going to get me the right tenant buyer, because they're going to screen them and everything. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Now, the other thing that you have to be cautious with, and this is a little underhanded, so you have to handle this your right way, because I'm telling you, you're going to do a lease with an option purchase. Some realtors will want a commission on that option agreement.
When it's down the road, when it sells?
Yeah. So what I've done in the past is I just had them write the lease, and then I implement the option later. Or I just make a deal with the realtor and tell them they're not going to get that. They're not going to get that. Thank you. My sister, she's awesome. She hears me coughing, so she got me water. So what I prefer to do is I tell the realtor, listen, we're going to sign a lease with an option, but I'm not paying you the option. I'm only paying you the commission.
Yeah, but you do business. We do actual renovations and sell that. So down the road, you might get something else, and you keep moving in the business, and then he'll get a whole house out of you with that too.
Right.
It's worth him doing business with you.
Right. Now, before we end off, Peter, because we're way overboard here, is there any reason why you got to do this type of business in your backyard?
Not when it's virtual.
So even though we're in a virus situation and we're all in lockdown and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff, what happens when the virus lifts, what do you call it? The seclusion or whatever.
Yeah. The quarantine.
The quarantine lifts. What could happen then?
Well, I can imagine right now, aren't there people that might have to go somewhere? I mean, somebody could get a job change. Some jobs are crashing. Some jobs are getting really, really busy. So somebody could still need to move quickly because he lost his job. He's got to go there quick because there's a new opportunity. So right now it could happen. So
I have one more question before we leave.
Yeah. So
this is episode number 198.
Mm-hmm.
What was episode 197, which was last week?
I forget the title, but it was, emerging markets. Yeah. Yeah.
So is it possible you could take that podcast, figure out where there's an emerging market? Let's just say it's Keokuk, New Jersey, right? And you then take this system that we just taught you, the 12 steps, right? And you apply it in Keokuk, New Jersey, in an emerging market.
Right.
Where there's not a lot of competition and you could actually rent because people are not getting rents.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you know how to find them and you know what to do and you know how to do things that the locals don't know how to do. Is it possible that you could do that? Hell yeah.
Right. And you're being ahead of the curve because the market's going to improve down the road.
Because you've done you called your major phone calls, you know what's going on and you know things that the locals probably don't know. And 6 months after you buy the place, all of a sudden the rents, increase.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Very possible.
Mm-hmm.
Very possible. Okay. So please subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. Please go subscribe to our channel or the channel you're listening to. Please give us a review. Go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. Just scroll halfway down the page. When you find the podcast, it'll say review right underneath it, and give us a review. And don't forget to go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, real estate virtually. As of this recording, we're on Facebook right now. It's Thursday, April 23rd. That page is not up, but by the time we get to Monday, when it actually hits the podcast, that page will be up. So go check it out because there's the offer calculator, the offer pack, the lease option, and the script will all be there waiting for you. So go check it out. Okay?
Yep.
So Peter, thanks for time blocking your Thursday morning with me.
I'm working on more time blocking, Bill.
Oh, good. All right, guys, we're over and out. If you need anything, you can go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. On the top right-hand side of the page, it says contact us. You can send support tickets if any of this stuff didn't make sense to you and you have questions. Send them to me and I will gladly send you back a support ticket. All right? Over and out. Thanks for being there.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.